I believe I'm going live. I didn't hear the second ding. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rob's Sunday Comic Corner. This is episode number 8, and as you can see in the line below, this is DC Comics Convergence, if I spelled all that right. Initially, I was going to try and do this particular episode like I did the previous, where I would kind of show some comic style art. I'm kind of torn between which way I want to do these. If I'm going to do it kind of as an audio track showing images. I know some people said it's kind of nice to see an image, or even if it was just the comic image that we're seeing here. I found out last week it took a lot longer to put the comic corner together because I was trying to put images and record tracks. So I kind of decided to do it this way again, mainly because this weekend for me was really busy, and we were just doing a lot of different activities. We went and saw a musical. We saw Sister Act, the musical, which was really cool. It was kind of like a national gaming month or tabletop day, so we were playing games with my brother-in-law, and we were kind of just doing different things. So I picked up my comics on Friday, and I read a couple of them, and then I had my brother-in-law pick me up 2 other books that I initially wasn't on because I was kind of curious about Convergence. So all of that being said, depending on where you are, for me right now it is 7:43 on Sunday, so that's about normally when I do these. I want to try and do them earlier, and maybe I'll be able to do more of the images. Google Hangouts is not cooperating with me very well today. So if it was, I did have some images set up, but the screen share is really kind of weird. So until I can get that ironed out, I'm just going to kind of do it this way with my little music stand here. So this is Convergence. The only book that I don't have, and I'm currently looking for it, that I haven't read that I picked up is Batman Arkham Knight. Seeing that this is monthly coming out, it's not like I feel like I have to review this right now because next week another book is going to come out, and these are quite thick. So what I think I'm going to do is just save this for next week because I don't want to run through this really fast, because I'm really excited about the Arkham Knight. And there were a few Convergence books here that I would rather talk about. So next week, or maybe I'll slip it in the middle of the week, but probably next week, I'll talk about Arkham Knight, as I'm probably going to read this later this evening. So everything is going to be Convergence, and I apologize to the one viewer I have out there. I can't see who you are. I just decided to shoot this right now, and if anybody caught it live, great. I didn't make an announcement on my Facebook page because I was trying to decide if I was going to do this. So I'm going to kind of shoot from the hip. And I found out it's going to be kind of easy to talk about all of these books. So in the description, we have Convergence, we have Batman, and these are all Convergence titles, by the way. We have Batman and Robin, Batgirl, and the 2 other books that my brother-in-law picked up for me are Nightwing and Oracle, and the Titans book. And there's also a new Teen Titans that I think is coming out next week, which I'm going to have to pick that up because I only had 3 books from the Convergence series in my poll list that I was going to get every week. As I said previously, that's going to be Batman and Robin, Batgirl, and then Shadow of the Bat, and then obviously the main Convergence book. So I don't think I'm going to get any other ones other than the new Teen Titans, and then I'm adding Nightwing and Oracle and the new and the Titans. Ugh, mouthful. So we'll start with the Convergence main book, and that's what we'll do every week, as that's going to be the lead week, and these other books are going to be the satellite books of kind of what else is going on. Like last week, there's not a lot going on. It's setup building, so being that it's 8 issues, 9 if you count the 0 issue, it's kind of setting up what's going on in Convergence. I'm torn about how this Convergence thing is all going to work out. We just did a reset of the DC continuity with the New 52, and we're into, what, year 4 of it, and the New 52 is ending of sorts. So we know some of the new books that are going to be coming out, and I'm losing my train of thought. We know some of the books that are going to be coming out in the month of June, so is Convergence really necessary for you to read if you know that we're going to get Robot Batman and a T-shirt looking Superman, whether that's a red herring or so. I think there are going to be 48 books in the DC comic. Now it's in continuity, but are going to be published. There are going to be some other books that will be announced at a later date, and I think that's because after Convergence wraps up, they're going to bring out some of these other books depending on what ends up coming out of Convergence. Convergence issue 1, as you can see here, and it was I've got it in my bag and board so you can't really see it, but it is Earth 2. So at the end of Futures End Earth 2, as they're fighting Darkseid, most of the team, and it's Superman, Batman, Green Lantern. I can't remember. I didn't read Earth 2 that much. You have Grayson, Jay Garrick, Flash, and I don't remember who the lady is in here. Again, I wasn't reading it, and I just recently read this before going on camera, so I apologize about that. But they are just now getting told, like Superman was, that, and they were assuming as Darkseid was getting ready to deliver the final blow, they are ripped from their timeline and brought into this world. And Telos is his name. If I'm saying that right, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong. Is the being that's kind of working alongside of Brainiac, and Brainiac is telling him to go around and collect worlds, and Brainiac is the master of what's going on. So the heroes of Earth 2 are kind of wondering where they are. Their city, their world is gone. And Telos, I hope I'm saying that name right, has shown up and has told them, like, well, where is your city? And Jay Garrick is kind of smart. That's like, we don't know. We're in the middle of nowhere, and we don't know what's going on. And a dome begins to form over them. And Superman is able to use his freeze breath and kind of stop the dome for a moment. And that's where Telos kind of shows up. And is basically telling us, the reader, the same thing we already knew from issue 0 of Convergence, that the worlds are going to be pitted against each other, and heroes are going to rise up. And what we'll find out, I'll kind of save that for these other books. So that's it. They have been told that Convergence is ready to begin. It's ready to start, and the strongest heroes will rise up and will begin to battle against one another because of all of these. And it was really kind of cool how Telos, again, I'm going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize anymore for that name. If I have it wrong, well, this is a new character, so shoot me. He is telling them, it was kind of a cool way how they wrote it. I can't believe I'm kind of saying that with Scott Lobdell having written part of this. And I believe Jeff King also is a contributing writer. He's got the first billing, and then Scott Lobdell. So they are starting, they're telling the heroes of Earth 2 that all universes were ending. If it is the 0 hour for some universes, or if a universe ended in a flashpoint, or if there was an infinite crisis somewhere in a universe. I like how they kind of fit some of the main points of other DC, world-changing books kind of fit into his speech. But it's just basically a speech from issue 0. Going out and telling people, and it's this voice kind of like over a PA system, but not really a PA system, that this battle is going to be starting. So it's going to be heroes against heroes, or villains against villains, or heroes and villains against one another to fight for the glory of your city, and then the winner, that city's timeline will be allowed to continue into the future. So that's it for issue 1. And it's got a price tag of $4.99. And I watched Geekvolution earlier today, and Captain Logan was talking about this, that maybe this should have been started at Free Comic Book Day. Given the 0 issue, much like Futures End 0 issue, was kind of the free book that you got to let you know about this new change that was coming. So we just had Futures End wrap up, and that really didn't change anything like we thought it might, which led right into this. And I'm still trying to figure out how that's connected, but it kind of is. And what ends up showing up here in the very beginning of this book that I just realized I left out is that the Injustice Gods Among Us, right here, starts out this story. and I haven't been following up on Injustice Gods Among Us, but that's where this starts, and it's Superman of Injustice Gods Among Us that ends up destroying Gotham City at that point, and this is what causes the Earth 2 heroes to be transported to this unnamed, like wasteland location. So that's really issue 1. It's got I was talking about Captain Logan, talking about Convergence, that this has got a $4.99 price tag on it. You want people to be invested into this story, and I'm not saying to not get it, but you could be turning away people by having basically a $5 book here, and it's pretty to look at. It's drawn very well, and the story is starting off slow. We've got 9 issues of this thing until June, and in 2 issues, you've basically repeated yourself twice. That we're fighting for certain heroes are being picked to fight for their timeline or their universe, and then that gets to go on. And I'll be disappointed if next week we're told the exact same thing again to maybe the Kingdom Come universe and then the Flashpoint universe. So there's not much done in this issue. I paid $5 for an issue that just kind of told me the same thing. There's a few little, things here or there, but I really hope with issue 3 I get more than just a repeat. Granted, a 0 issue is just basically Brainiac to Superman and the different Brainiacs to Superman. But in this, I don't want to have each hero or each group of heroes from each universe or each timeline have to be told the same thing again, and then maybe in the final 2 issues we get to the end of it. I don't think that's going to happen, but 2 issues into it already, I've already been told the same thing twice. So I got more out of the satellite books than this one. Again, I'm just having done 2 weekly series in Batman Eternal and Future's End, and shelling out a good amount of money for those 2 books to pick up another weekly series that's going to be 8 weeks or 9 weeks for the 0 issue. And already in this, you've told me the same thing 2 times. I don't know quite how I feel about it. So the heroes as the domes, I'll tell you what, this is a good segue to go right into. As the domes are going over each of these cities from the different timelines, the metahumans, being your Supermans, Wonder Womans, any of your Lanterns, Green Lantern, anybody with a robotic part, could be Arsenal, could be Cyborg, their abilities and powers are gone because they're under this dome. So the only people that really have any type of ability anymore are your Green Arrows, your Batmans, your Robins, your whoever else that is. So if it's somebody that relies on a superpower, their powers are useless while they're in the dome, so it diminishes that. So the only people that are really taking control of their cities or locations are like a Batman and Robin. So that's where we're going to go next. Batman and Robin. This goes back for some people that are like, oh, I really miss the pre-New 50 or the old continuity before the New 52. That's these guys. So I apologize for the image, but hopefully you can see the Grant Morrison Red Hood, that he's not wearing the dome to pill head and the cape. He's more of the, got the jacket on with the traditional Red Hood helmet. So this is a step backwards a little bit. It's kind of right after Bruce Wayne has come back, and assuming that Dick Grayson is done being Batman, that this is kind of one of the first times Damian and Bruce are working together. So it's more of the snotty, punky-ish Damian. So we've spent all this time that I've talked about of seeing a Damian that's growing into being the proper Robin that he should be, and then taking a couple steps back. But some people were complaining about it, but I'm like, you have to forget the New 52 in this particular book, because that's not the Damian that was currently going on in that title, even though Damian was a little bit better with Grayson, if that makes any sense. So in this book, it's been a year that has been going on, and I think everything kind of seems like a year to all these cities. They've traveled about as far as they can in Gotham City, Batman and Robin, and they realize that they're in a dome. So they're having to rely on somebody like Poison Ivy to grow fruits and vegetables to kind of keep the city fed. And, you know, once you're in a city, you don't have any cattle or beef coming in. So you can imagine that this is the road, and your farm's over here. Well, a line is drawn in this dome, so vehicles can't go in and out. Some people are kind of getting a little crazy and pent up with angers. I have a cat here meowing. And people have initially, like once panic has kind of set in, people start figuring out, now that a year's gone on, the things that they need to do to survive. These are going to go pretty quick here. The basic point of this is that this is kind of like the first appearance, if you remember, I'm pointing like you can see it, the Dark Knight, White Knight storyline that ended kind of right before the New 52 started. Jason and Scarlet had, flown off, kind of presumed dead-ish, or had killed the last batch of people that they had killed. So this is the first time that Red Hood is making his appearance in Gotham City, and Damian's really kind of ticked about it, telling Bruce, we need to go after Jason. He's a fugitive, he's wanted, and Bruce is kind of torn between still trying to rein Damian in and figure out what Jason is doing back in Gotham City. So it turns out that Jason has been in Gotham City this whole entire time because he couldn't escape because of the dome. Bruce kind of grounds Damian to put him off to the side, because Damian's basically wanting to go out and try and kill Jason, or beat him to a pulp, and Jason's kind of going, or Jason, excuse me, Damian's looking at Bruce going, well, which son are you more concerned about? The son that's standing right in front of you, or the adoptive son that's a pain in your ass type of a thing? So Damian goes out. He has taken a bat plane. Alfred has alerted Bruce to it, has put a tracker on it, so they catch up with Scarlet and Red Hood and Robin. And just as Batman is about to kind of separate the two boys, Telos's voice is heard basically saying the same spiel. One city will rise up, or heroes will rise up, the dome kind of dissipates, allowing the next round of, or the first round of contenders to come in and fight. And it's the, I'm going to say this wrong, I was going to say the extremist, I apologize. You read so many books and it kind of goes out, the extremists. I don't know much about them at all, so there they are. Which they're going to play to in another book in just a second. And that's where the issue is. So you have Batman, Robin, Red Hood, and Scarlet at the edge of Gotham City, getting ready to fight this group of heroes. And I like in each of these books, it gives you, since Damian is more of the focal point in this book, you get a history from Damian's creation all the way up to, I believe, the New 52. So that's that book. It's just the setup. It's kind of a day in the life under the dome. That's what all these are, day in the life under the dome. It's been going on for a year until the dome is removed and the Convergence is starting. So we'll move into a book I shouldn't say I was eager to read, is Batgirl. We have Batgirl, Black Bat, and Tim Drake, Red Robin, in their old costumes. This book is basically, again, everything's a year. Stephanie Brown hasn't been Batgirl for about a year. She, being in the dome, she was kind of getting melancholy and just, like, well, what's the use? I wasn't the best Batgirl, and it wasn't a really good spoiler. So she's just been kind of down on herself, and the story bookends itself. It starts in the Convergence, where Stephanie Brown as Batgirl has been picked to be the champion of this particular Gotham City. So in this Gotham City, there's no Batman, no Damian, no Nightwing. It's just Batgirl, Red Robin, and Black Bat. And as a hero has been chosen, she's been teleported to this desert location to fight her contender. But in that, these orbs were kind of going all over Stephanie, and she ended up falling back into the arms of Red Robin and Black Bat, and all three of them were transported. Excuse me. But it is known that Stephanie is the champion that's going to fight, and she's talking to Tim and Cassandra like, why me? Out of the three of us, I should not be the one that is going to fight and defend our freedom for universe. It should be Tim. He's more agile. He's quick on his feet. He's got computer tech going on. Black Bat is probably the better fighter of the three of them, and she can easily hold her own against any foe. And Stephanie's like, it's me. It's Stephanie Brown. I probably don't deserve to be Batgirl. I kind of dumb lucked my way into Batgirl, and I had an off again, on again boyfriend relationship with Tim Drake. So it's Stephanie that's kind of at a torn. So each of the other two, Cassandra and Tim, are trying to train Stephanie and saying, you can't go into this fight and this confrontation with that type of attitude. While they're in the desert location, it was really kind of a funny moment. Stephanie's wanting to go to the bathroom. And so she's walking around the corner and is, kind of taking off her costume to try and, relieve herself. And Catman shows up. And this is the part that I had a hard time with this book. In the pre-New 52, in the old continuity, you had Cassandra, you had this version of the Bat family. Tim has had many confrontations with Catman, or many. It had one in the old continuity in the Red Robin title. And Stephanie Brown was in and out of the title a couple different issues, but they treat it like Stephanie has no idea who Catman is. That was where I was that kind of threw me for a loop. She should definitely know who Catman is. So he has to kind of explain that he was in the Congo and he was going to have to fight Gorilla Grodd, and Stephanie doesn't know who Gorilla Grodd is. And Tim and Cassandra both look a little perplexed. So I don't know. That maybe that'll be made more clear in the second issue of Batgirl, but that's kind of where we're at. So like I said, it bookended. You have the middle story of Stephanie explaining what has been going on for the year. The year of her not being Batgirl, she was working as a nurse in a hospital and helping deliver newborn babies, which got her thinking of the child that she left for adoption in the old DC Universe continuity with her. So it was kind of cool to see that brought back in. And it ends with Stephanie and the group kind of seeing the confrontation, and Gorilla Grodd is right there. Actually, that was in the beginning of the book, sorry. And it's them arriving in their desert location, and they're also getting told, here will rise, the dome has been lifted, yada, yada, etc. So that's that. These are going to go kind of quick. The last two books I have here were ones that my brother-in-law picked up for me. This is Nightwing and Oracle, and I liked this one. I've liked all of them, but with only 2 issues, they're having to cram a lot in here, so bear with me. This, again, everything has been about a year since they've been in the dome, and we have Oracle, Barbara Gordon, who's, paralyzed in her wheelchair, and it's a routine day for Nightwing just looking out over Gotham City. It kind of starts... this kind of threw me. I think it's what the Hawks were doing, and this is the Hawkman and Hawkwoman of Flashpoint. So as they're more of their evil selves from Thanagar, they have taken out probably the champions of a previous world and are moving on to this particular world of Nightwing and Oracle. So that's the beginning part of it, which doesn't really hold much to the story. The Nightwing and Oracle part is Oracle's being Oracle, leading Nightwing to where Mr. Freeze is in a museum. And Nightwing has made some mention of, it's just kind of like typical Mr. Freeze. He's probably going after diamonds. And Nightwing drops in, and Mr. Freeze is holding his round of diamonds that he has captured, he has stolen. And before Nightwing can really do anything to fight any of his henchmen or Mr. Freeze kind of gives up, and he said, what does it matter? He's already lost Nora. Nora has died because she's on some other part of Gotham City that's in the dome out beyond of where she is. So he is kind of realizing he's like a rat in a maze. He gets arrested. He gets out of Arkham or out of jail, whatever it is, and goes back to doing the thing that he has been doing, stealing diamonds, because the diamonds is going to power his freezing unit that can help deliver a cure to Nora, and that can't be done. So Nightwing doesn't ever really have to fight Mr. Freeze at all. They just take him away. And you have this running commentary of Barbara the whole entire time of she kind of understands how Mr. Freeze is. And that she sees no point to, she realizes there is an existence. There's nothing for them to do. They can't go out beyond the walls. It's like living in a giant fishbowl. So anything that they do can only be done in their world, their city, as much of Gotham City as they have left in their dome. So she's kind of at what the point. And Dick is always kind of the optimist. Is, you know, they're having a date, and he cuts communication off with Barbara as the fight is over, and meets Corey. So Corey ends up catching up with Dick, and they kind of have a discussion of, you know, Dick, she says, you know, my one true love, you know, you need to follow your heart's desire. And I thought this was going to be about Barbara and Dick. And what we realize, kind of like off panel, that Corey is basically giving up on Dick, because she knows that Dick's heart has always belonged to Barbara. And he says, you know, I want to go through with it. There's a question I want to ask. And on a date night for Nightwing and Oracle, Dick proposes to Barbara, and quickly turns him down. And he's just like, you know, what? I loved you since the day I met you. We've been partners. We've been best friends. This is perfect. And as her inner monologue is kind of running through this whole entire issue, she says, how can I tell the man that I love that this just isn't going to work out because something else is coming? And they realize, as she is kind of thinking this, and Dick is kind of, you know, really confused about all this, that the dome has finally lifted. So people run out of the restaurants and the buildings, and they're, you know, trying to go towards where the end of the dome was, and coming across the water are the Flashpoint Hawkman and Hawkwoman, and they are declaring battle on the heroes. And they must have been told, now this is the first time that a battle is kind of getting underway, where you have somebody else coming to our heroes, with the exception of Batman and Robin book, where the extremists just kind of show right up a bit, but they don't challenge anything. So they kind of engage Nightwing and Oracle, and they have a little bit of discussion. And the Hawks kind of say, you know, you have Nightwing, which Starfire was there, so I don't know why she hasn't shown up, but that was, and I had said that all the superpowers had lost their powers, but she was kind of flying around, so I don't know. I'm leaving that out. Gail Simone wrote this, so I'm going to let her have a pass with Corey, but the way she's writing Barbara and Dick is really, really good, and that was, this is like the Barbara Gordon, the Oracle, that I think a lot of us miss. So the Hawks basically said, we have just left one world, and we decimated it and destroyed it. Their Flashpoint world, they don't refer it to it as that. Their Thanagar was destroyed. They're the only survivors from their universe or from their timeline. So they're here in Gotham City, challenging both Nightwing and Oracle, and they said, you're the only two heroes that we are supposed to come up in contact with, and we have an invalid in a chair and a boy with a pair of sticks, who you'll be easily be taken care of, taken out. What you can do is you can surrender to us, and we will control your city. So we could be the champions of your city. And they realize that for Dick and Barbara, they make mention that we know that there are, in your universe, there are two Thanagarians that are heroes. We are not those type of heroes. We're not here to save the day. But what we can do is, if we work together and you bow to us, we will champion your city, and we will fight for the two of you, meaning Nightwing and Batgirl, or Nightwing and Oracle. And if we win and your city is allowed, your timeline is allowed to continue, you have to bow to us. And Barbara and Dick both say, no way, no deal. And Hawkman and Hawkwoman say, you have an hour to decide. Meet us at, you know, disclosed location, and give your, and to either battle or give your consent, and that we will fight for your city. But if we win, we are going to basically own you. So the underlying writing from Oracle is that how can she tell the man that she loves that she has her ability to have all of her computer skills at hand, and she has already started to engage them through being Oracle. That's it from issue 1. So with probably issue 2 coming out, I don't know if this is going to be weekly for them or if it's going to be, it's probably a month from now for all these issue 1s to have their second issue. So they have to decide, are the two of them going to play a coy with the Hawks and say, you know, yeah, we'll let you champion us, and then ambush them, because again, the only ones that are in this domed city up till now, since the dome has been removed, and it's not like you can go out beyond, like go from Gotham City to Metropolis now. The city still ends, it's just now open aired. So the only other hero that has been made mention that is in here right now is Starfire. So I don't know if she's going to somehow work her way into the story. So I'm kind of curious with this one to what Barbara has planned and how she could possibly fight unless she has other drones or something like that. And Nightwing's the really only hero taking on the two Hawks, with Barbara being in a wheelchair. So I was kind of, I liked the way that Gail wrote Dick and Batgirl, or I keep saying Batgirl, Dick and Oracle, that it was like, yeah, that feels like the old DC continuity. Now, granted, there's the Convergence angle that's in there. So that's the end of that one. The last book for today is Convergence, The Titans. And this is, of course, you can hopefully see here, we have Roy Harper, Arsenal, Donna Troy, and we have Corey Starfire. Again, City of a Dome, blah, blah, blah. This is written in the point of view from Roy Harper, and it's the same thing, trying to figure out, it kind of runs through Roy's history a little bit of, you know, being the junkie sidekick and having his drug problems, to having his arm ripped off in battle, and then having a prosthetic and mechanical arm put in, and trying to be the hero that he should be, that he actually became a better hero or a better person once the dome was put over Gotham City. And I've got to say that the books that I've read so far, everything has been Gotham City. We have Gotham City and Titans, Gotham City and Nightwing and Oracle, Gotham City and Batgirl, and Gotham City and Batman. Yes, I know that they're most of them are Batman books, with the exception of the Titans book. So I'm curious that in this book, particularly depending on when the timeline is, Roy, Corey, and Donna are in Gotham City, and they make mention there's no Batman, there's no Superman, there's no Wonder Woman. They're the only ones in this particular Gotham City, unless it's sections of Gotham City. So Batman and Robin are in one section in a dome, and you have these guys in a dome. Again, we're still into the early stages of it, or is it a specific time that was going on? They're still really kind of vague, and it may just be vague, like, hey, we're just trying to tell you a story. So Roy has found out, and again, heroes don't have superpowers that can, you know, fly, the superpowered heroes, with the exception of Starfire from the previous issue, but I'm gonna let that go. So Donna Troy can't fly, Starfire can't fly, and Roy, having a mechanical arm, it doesn't work. So he just has a normal arm for an amputee that you would see just by putting pressure, that the claw hand would open back and forth. But in a time where they really haven't been needed as heroes in the section of Gotham that they're in, they've been doing other things. Donna Troy and Corey are models. They're on a photo shoot, and Roy has been working with a set of a Wayne charity housing project. So he goes to visit kids, and he's still thinking about his daughter that was killed. And he kind of does a lot of this because his daughter's not there, and, you know, what he would possibly, you know, give to see his daughter again. And then, just like everybody else, the dome opens up, and people are starting to see, they're starting to, you know, kind of run out and kind of see how far they can go since the dome is opened up. And Corey and Donna Troy can fly. And Corey just takes a leap off a 13th floor building. Roy kind of radios to them like, hey, the dome has disappeared. And Corey says she feels kind of like a tingling in her skin. So Roy's like, well, can you guys fly? And Corey's like, well, I'm going to find out. And so she jumps right off the building. And Donna's like, you reckless SOB, yeah, of course you would have to jump right off. And Corey instantly takes right off and starts flying. So that causes Donna to jump off the building. So Roy says, we might kind of want to get into our uniforms, costumes, etc., and kind of see what's going on. I think with us getting our powers and abilities back since, a year being in this dome, something bigger might be around the corner. So I don't think we want to get into a battle or a scuffle being in our Versace clothes and kind of poking fun at them for being models. And Roy, using the money and stuff from the Wayne Foundation for the kids, has also been building his own like arsenal bunker. So he's been kind of preparing just in case something ever happens. He wanted to be ready. So he gets suited up and he is putting his prosthetic mechanical arm on for the very first time since a year has gone by. And the Extremis show up in this book. So we have them in Batman and Robin, and we have them in this book too. So that's kind of making me wonder, do the Extremis kill them off, or do they kill off Batman and Robin, or is this the Extremis from different times? So again, it's only one issue, and I'm kind of torn of which I kind of wish these books said, this is circa 1998, or this is 2001, or this is this universe. So they're really not kind of saying it. You can kind of look at the Cassandra Cain or the Batgirl book and go, okay, this is probably right before the New 52 started, so you can kind of placehold that. Batman and Robin is kind of the same way. I want to say this is kind of the same way also, the Titans book, but it feels like it's a little bit older yet than the events that were going on right before Flashpoint started. So it ends with the Extremists telling them and showing an image of Roy Harper's daughter. And the image really becomes real, and she is calling out for her father. And Donna says, don't believe it. It's a trap. And one of them says, we have the power to grant your daughter to be real. We can pluck her out of the timeline that she was killed in before she was killed, and we can deliver her to you. All you have to do, Roy, is kill the two women beside you. Are you willing to sacrifice your two friends for the life of your daughter that you have never, ever gotten over? And the final panel is Roy pulling up his mechanical arm, and his arrow arms end up pointing at Corey and Donna, and then you see BAM written in a splash page. It says to be continued. So that's the Convergence books. Does Roy end up killing Donna Troy and Starfire? Is he shooting at somebody else off to the side? Do Batman and Robin and Red Hood and Scarlet fight the Extremists like they're going to fight them here? Did Barbara take the ring from Dick Grayson? I think Dick was kind of holding it there. And was that my last book? Yeah, it was. So, and Batgirl. Is Stephanie Brown going to be the hero that she needs to be? And does she have enough training? And are secretly Tim and Cassandra going to be her support? Or Stephanie going to have to fight this fight on her own? That's it for the Convergence books. I apologize for not getting the Arkham Knight book read. Again, it was a long weekend, but I don't feel like I'm tied to Arkham Knight as long as I go through the series before the game is actually released on June 23rd. So I'll do that next week. So I'll have another batch of Convergence books. I think next week my only two books are going to be Convergence #2 and Shadow of the Bat. If the new Teen Titans book is out, I will pick that up. So I may have only 3 books for next week, 4 if you count Batman Arkham Knight. So I do kind of leave on a couple little notes here for Convergence. The story sounds interesting. It's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. They kind of toted this to be like, this is your chance to read your favorite heroes and or villains from their old timeline one last time. It's kind of that way. Yes, I get to read Stephanie Brown as Batgirl and see Tim Drake in his classic Red Robin costume and Cassandra Cain. And, the pre-New 52 Red Hood that's kind of in between the Pillhead Red Hood and, the other, and Damian and Bruce very first kind of working together right after the Dick Grayson steps back down to be Nightwing. So it's kind of that, but they're in this bubble universe. So I feel like there's part of the story we don't know. If they've been in these bubble cities for a year, what has transpired before that? So I don't think there was a lot of they tried to put in some exposition of what they were doing. The Stephanie Brown Batgirl, I think, went through the most of what she's been doing. The Batman and Robin book just took it. It's just another day in Gotham City, and they're taking down, Black Mask and Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze in this book, while Jason Todd arrives for the first time after a year. So it's kind of what they said, and it's kind of not. I think I've said before on this, I'm a little apprehensive of where this is going to go. There's already some books that are going to be starting in June, that I'm not sure if I'm going to continue. I don't know about Robot Suit Batman. I haven't dropped the book. I'm going to stay and see how it is. Are there other books that are going to come out of Convergence? How is the universe going to look? Is it going to be another 4 years and DC is going to go, okay, wait, well, we want to do another change. This better be the last change for a while, and we better, whatever universe we're left with, like it or love it, let's keep it going. 4 years with the New 52. If I were running DC Comics, I just would have said, no, we're staying in the New 52 universe. That's what it is. That's what we committed to, and we'll relook at it again in another 10, 15, 20 years or whatever. So that would have been me. But that's going to do it for this episode of Rob's Sunday Comic Corner, episode number 8, the DC Convergence. So most of the books here will all be Convergence, with the exception the end of May will be the wrap-up of the Batman Endgame storyline, and then I have Batman Arkham Knight here. So other than those 2 books, everything else will be all Convergence all the way through to the month of June. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I apologize for not getting this out, but it's been kind of a busy weekend, so I thought I would just do the live feed here, shoot it, done, and out the door. So thanks, and we will continue on with I love live videos. I screw up and it's in here. I'm celebrating Robin's 75th anniversary. I've already loaded a couple things. I could take this time to show you a couple things I bought. I put them on Facebook. I picked this up, my local comic shop. It is DC Comics New 52. The Greg Capullo Thrasher Batman suit. This guy is great. He's big. He's huge. I won't be reviewing him for Robin Week. Robin Month. I'm actually going to shoot the video right now, but I'll wait to review him after the month of April, unless I get really antsy. I'll put him up right away. The other one, I love being live here because I think he's out of reach. Oh, there he is. He will definitely get a review. Batman the Animated Series Robin figure. This guy looks so cool. I just watched Olivia review him, Seha Man, and a couple others reviewers out there reviewed this guy, so I can't wait to get him out of package. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to start filming the review for this guy. So hopefully you guys are liking the 75th anniversary for Robin special that I have. Being a big Robin fan, I think you guys realize that. So thanks, and we will see you next week for the continuation of DC Comics Convergence in Rob's Sunday Comic Corner. See you next week, guys. Bye.